The Whispering Shadows.
In a small, forgotten town, there stood an old, abandoned house at the edge of a dense, misty forest. The townsfolk whispered of the house, saying it was cursed, haunted by shadows that whispered secrets from beyond the grave. One cold, stormy night, a traveler named Elias, seeking shelter from the rain, stumbled upon the eerie house. Desperate, he decided to take refuge inside, despite the warnings he had heard from the locals. The moment he stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind him, and the temperature dropped. The only light came from the occasional flash of lightning, revealing the decayed interior. As Elias explored the house, he began to hear faint whispers, like the soft rustling of leaves, but distinctly human. The voices seemed to be coming from the walls, the floorboards, and even the shadows cast by the flickering lightning. They spoke in hushed tones, murmuring his name, revealing secrets only he knew. Terrified, Elias tried to leave, but the door wouldn't budge. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, filling his mind with dreadful thoughts. Suddenly, in the dim light, he saw them. Shadowy figures creeping along the walls, their forms indistinct yet undeniably human. They moved towards him, their whispering voices blending into a cacophony of terror. Desperately, Elias backed away, stumbling into a room at the end of the hall. There, in the center of the room, was a large, ornate mirror. The surface was dark, almost black, and as he looked into it, he saw the shadowy figures reflected behind him, closing in. But the reflection didn't match reality. In the mirror, Elias saw himself standing still, his face twisted in fear, while in reality he was frantically trying to escape. The reflection suddenly smiled, a sinister grin that wasn't his own. The shadows in the mirror reached out, pulling the reflection of Elias into the darkness. He screamed, but no sound came out, and then everything went silent. The next morning the storm had passed, and the sun rose over the town. The townsfolk noticed something strange. The old house, which had stood abandoned for years, had vanished without a trace. In its place was a clearing in the forest, where only the whispers of the wind could be heard. And as for Elias, he was never seen again. But on certain stormy nights, when the wind howls through the trees, some say you can still hear his voice, whispering from the shadows, trapped forever in the place where the house once stood.